Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat, get a cup of coffee and your favorite biltong, because today we'll dive into a topic that's been making waves. Big warnings for South African refugees coming to the US. Buckle up because it's going to be an enlightening ride. So you're thinking about making the big move from South Africa to the United States. Land of the free, home of the brave, right? But hold on. Before you start packing your bags, let's talk about some real challenges that South African refugees have been actively facing upon arrival. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You see, imagine stepping off after a long-haul flight, dreams in your eyes only to be met with a less than warm welcome. South African refugees have reported feeling like they're under a microscope during the immigration process. Questions that feel more like interrogations and an atmosphere that's anything but inviting. They have intense scrutiny. Reports have surfaced about refugees being subjected to rigorous questioning, doubting the legitimacy of their refugee status. Some have experienced prolonged processing times for some reason, leading to uncertainty and stress. Now, this is where things get even more concerning. The US, like many countries, has its issues with racial tensions. Unfortunately, some South African refugees have found themselves on the receiving end of racial slurs and discriminatory behavior. Instances where refugees have even been called derogatory names based on their ethnicity or nationality, basically their skin color. They even feel ostracized in communities that are not as welcoming as anticipated when they were going there. Safety is a fundamental concern because the US offers many opportunities. It's essential to also be aware of areas where racial tensions are high, because there have been reports of racially motivated incidents on immigrants. You should stay alert, know your surroundings, research neighborhoods before settling to ensure they have a reputation for inclusivity. Have community support. I also suggest that engage with local South African communities, have support group chats for assistance and assurance, because moving countries is expensive, but some refugees have encountered unexpected costs, especially concerning luggage and belongings, like extra fees. Some airplanes or shipping companies may impose additional charges on luggage for some reason, sometimes exploiting the ones that are unfamiliar with these norms. So be prepared for expenses like security deposits, utility setup fees, and other costs that can add up quickly. You see, the US job market can be competitive and foreign qualifications might not always be recognized. So here are my tips. Consider having your qualifications assessed by a credential evaluation service to understand their US equivalents. Upgrade your skills. Look into local courses or certifications that can enhance your employmentability. Beyond the logistical challenges, there's a cultural shift too, right? From driving on the other side of the road to understanding American slang, the adjustment can be more profound than expected. But I'm saying stay open-minded, okay? Be prepared for cultural differences and view them as learning opportunities, because now you're in someone else's home and you're trying to make it yours. You're trying to blend in, right? Join some South African communities there that can support you during this transition, because relocating to the US is a big decision filled with both opportunities and challenges. But being prepared, you can go through those hurdles more effectively. So equip yourself with more information, seek support, and approach the journey with resilience and optimism. Okay? That is my advice to you, the refugee that had to move from here to the US, the refugee mom who had to tell their kids they have to move out to a new school, the refugee dad who had to make the decision for the entire family and now has to have himself and the family blend into society and by God's grace find a job over there. If you've arrived in the US, hey there, we're on your side. We are here, we support you. Tell us how it is there. Tell us your experiences on the airports, the neighborhood you're in. Tell us everything. Did you find a job yet? Do you have a grant perhaps? Do they do what they do here, the nonsense 350, or is there something more decent there? Do you have qualifications to start work decently? Tell us. Tell us in the comment sections so that we can also be more familiar with what you are exactly facing there. Because remember, the news channels may cover what you're facing there, but nobody really trusts the news channels these days, do we? Especially the ones we watch like the SABC, News 24, and all the other meat-writing news channels that are always saying what they're told to say and paid for, right? So tell us what you're thinking. And if you're wondering why I didn't upload as much as I usually do this weekend, hey, I was riding Ferraris all day, okay? Give me a break. I need to unwind sometimes, okay? And guess what? The Ferrari I was driving around was the same color as this polo neck I'm wearing. Nah, I'm kidding. It was similar though. It was a similar color though. This is the summer Sambit, and like always, I'll see you next time.